name's Terry Miller. I'm the director of the Center for International Trade and Economics here at the Heritage Foundation. And I'm just delighted to welcome you and our guest here to this program this morning. I'd ask all of you right now, as we begin, to please turn off your cell phones as a courtesy to our guest and to the other members of the audience. I'm also happy to welcome this morning our internet crowd that's viewing us live on the internet. And of course, we have other members of the press here as well. Our guest this morning is Jong-lok. He's the second Vice Minister of Science, ICT, and Future Planning of the Republic of Korea. Minister Yoon received his MA in Electronics Engineering from Yonsei University in 1980 and completed his course on electricity communication at Michigan State University in 1996. He also completed the Chief Executive Officer course from Seoul National University in 2003. He was a professor in the Department of Global Convergence Engineering, Yonsei University in 2012, and was a special researcher at the U.S. Bell Laboratories from December 2009 to December 2011. From June 2009 to November 2007, he was Director for Growth Business Sector and Research and Development at Korea Telecom, KT. During those periods, he also served as a standing director and vice president at KT. From 2003 to 2005, he was managing director there, and he oversaw various sectors, including the growth strategy sector, new business planning sector, technology division, and marketing planning division. So you can see there's an awful lot of technology background here. In 1998, Minister Yoon was appointed as a president of KTAI, a corporation in New York City, and he was assigned as a senior managing director for network strategy team of the network division. He passed his 15th technical hire civil service examination in April 1980. He's here today to talk to us about the creative economy and how that's being realized in Korea today. And I think there's going to be a lot of wisdom that can help us move forward not only in Korea, but in the United States and other countries around the world. So would you please join me now in welcoming Minister Jong-lok.
Good morning. It's my great pleasure and privilege to deliver my ideas with prestigious researchers here in Heritage Foundation. Actually, one of the former president of Heritage Foundation, Mr. Fuller, once was my friend. I'm not actually my friend. My former president of Korea Telecom, Dr. Jo Baek-jae. Jo Baek-jae was his friend. At that time, I was chief secretary to our CEO, Jo Baek-jae. So that's why we met a couple of times. So that's why I'm here today. As Ambassador Miller introduced me, I'm in charge of Vice Minister of the Ministry of Science, ICT, and Future Planning. It's a very long name, right? Actually, Madam Park, the President of Korea, when she inaugurated her terms this January, he emphasized especially this ministry because we don't have natural resources at all in Korea. So that's why he tried to reboost our economy through science and technology. Even though we don't have natural resources, we have enough human resources. That's the big point. You can see the views in 1950s in Seoul and the 2013, as of today, there. And right after the Korean War, the Han River, you can see there. And that of now, 2013, Han River. Since the 2008 global financial crisis, countries around the world have closely worked together. And as a result, the world economy has been significantly stabilized. However, tough challenges such as low growth, high unemployment, and imbalance in economic growth remains to be addressed. So economic stimulus packages that have been implemented by many countries since the global financial crisis may have delivered a short-lived effect, but they cannot cure the fundamental problems and breaking the victory. In this context, Korea is making efforts to solve various challenges it is facing today by building a creative economy with the goal of economic growth and job creation. That's why our new administration initiated creative economy to our Korean situation. So taking this opportunity, I'd like to present the background and the key agendas of creative economy, a new vision the Korean government is currently pursuing to achieve growth and create new jobs. Within a half century, Korea has risen from the ashes of the war and achieved industrialization, which is now dubbed the miracle of the Han River. So the Korean economy has posted remarkable growth over the past 60 years after the Korean War. The nation's per capita at that time was 160, but nowadays it's $20,000 in 2010 from a mere $150 in 1960s. So in 2012, Korea took 50th place in global GDP ranking and also ranked 15th, 18th, 8th, and 7th in the world in terms of trade and export volume, respectively. In particular, the rapid growth of the nation's ICT sector since the 1990s has led Korea to emerge as a global ICT powerhouse. So it topped the UN e-government development ranking and the ITU ICT Development Index in 1912. The ICT industry's contribution to GDP growth recorded 20.8% in 2012, showing that the industry was played a critical role in driving the country's economic development. I believe that a government-led industrial policy has been a driving force behind Korea's rapid economic growth. From an export-oriented policy that focused on the manufacturing industry based on cheap labor cost between 1960s and 1980s, and an innovation policy to nurture technology-intensive industries such as the ICT industry in the 1990s, to an innovation capability building policy to create new growth engines in recent years, have all significantly contributed to the nation's economic growth so far. However, Korea is now faced with a number of challenges such as low growth and high unemployment. Most of all, the country is in a situation where slowdown in growth had led to an increase in the unemployed. As of August 2013, the number of people in de facto unemployment status exceeded 4 million in Korea. Low growth trends might be blamed. However, it could also be explained by the reduced employment effect of economic growth due to the advanced industrial structure and increased productivity and labor efficiency. Could you somebody help? Could you? Okay. Actually, the economic growth supposed by injection of labor and capital has reached its limit. And as a result, the trend of slow growth has set in. As a law of diminishing marginal productivity tells us, we have reached a certain point in which as increase in input does not guarantee a gradual increase in output. And a decrease in potential growth rules, the potential growth rate seems inevitable considering the fact that the country's labor and capital inputs are expected to go down in coming years due to a lower working age population and strengthened growth. Concerns about Korea falling into the middle income trap as its growth rate have remained flat since its per capita GDP hit the $20,000 mark can be also explained in this context. If something happens.
The entire computer crashed. I'm restarting it.
Okay. Actually, the country like Israel, the Israel just like Korea, they don't have natural resources at all. So, but they, they reduced their country from the startup nation concept. So the government encouraged young generations to boost new business model. So the nickname of Israel is considered as a startup nation. So actually the creative economy in Korea also emphasized some startup model for our young generations. Very fortunately, our young generations are eager to, challenge against, creating new business at this moment. And also, the source of growth in Korea is has been traditionally dependent on very cheap labor cost, or our economy is very much dependent on some investment, right? Capital investment. But nowadays, the labor itself is not comparable anymore, and we cannot put lots of money to our economy traditionally. So that's why innovation is required to our economy. If not, we cannot expand our economy anymore. So actually, for the creative economy, the innovation itself is very much crucial compared to any others. So that's why science and technology on top of ICT was very crucial to our economy. Whenever the President of Korea, Madam Park, says creative economy, he always concerned about science and technology and imagination and ICT. So the imagination combined with science and technology create a seed for the creative economy. Just like agriculture, the seeds are expected to put on the ground, soil, right? Just like that, the seed for the initiate from imagination combined with science technology are expected to be on the ground. Instead of dirt ground, the creative economy needs very fertile digital soil. That's why ICT is very crucial point for the creative economy. But very fortunately in Korea, our ICT development index was #1 throughout the world last 4 consecutive years. So that's why we are very much focused on ICT is very important for the creative economy. And on top of the growth and high unemployment, Korea is currently facing an issue of social welfare. With the rapid pace of population aging, the country's old age dependency ratio has been on a sharp rise. So in the meantime, Korea's social expenditure in proportion to GDP is fairly low compared to other OECD members countries. Because of the stagnant growth, it's hard to secure more funds for welfare spending. Okay. I already covered this one, and this one too. As I mentioned earlier, we are having a very weak social expenditure structure at this moment. But as the time goes, the demand for welfare budget is increasing dramatically. That's another problem to our economy. In the meantime, the overall global economy has slowed down due to a series of economic crises, including the global financial crisis in 2008 and the Eurozone fiscal crisis in 2010. And the slowdown has been spreading from developed countries to developing countries, including the BRICS countries. Korea is not an exception, with more competitive pressure is placed on the country due to the emergence of China and the technological gap with advanced nations such as the United Nations and Japan and the Korean economy, which is highly dependent on export, with witness is internal and external economic conditions deteriorating. Here I show the evolution of the economy and our society. The idea of building a creative economy has not spread out of thin air. It is rather a product of the economic paradigm evolution from the agricultural and industrial revolution to the information revolution. So to create economy refers to an economy that creates new added values in the process of maximizing creativity by utilizing the information system built in the industry economy. In other words, the creative economy is coordinating and developing the industry economy built on the energy revolution and the internet economy, information economy of computers and also networks. Just like agriculture, the seeds are expected to be on the ground. So creative economy also needs very fertile digital soil. So I'd like to raise a question about what the creativity is. So according to Webster, creativity is an ability to produce something new. So in reality, however, the scope of creativity is expanding from just something, creating something. So in 1995, Steve Jobs said, creativity is just connecting things, while John Hawkins defined creativity as production by one or more people of ideas and invention in 2002. Many other people talked about creativity itself. In case of Peter Coy, said the creativity economy is an economic system in that only the enterprise can survive that creates invisible values and ideas. Like that, many economists and politicians already described some part of the creative economy. For example, the president of Korea, President Park Geun-hye of Korea said, creativity economy is blossoming of creativity on the boundary of collapsed walls between industries with convergence of science and technology and ICT, culture and industry. Science and technology and the IT industry, as my core values, are placed in the middle of the creative economy. So she said like this in her inauguration this January. As you can see, the creative economy is pursued as one of the key policies in many major economies in the world. So I believe, however, Korea is the first country that has adopted building a creative economy as a national principle and has developed and implemented related policies in a systematic manner. In addition, you can find many examples of the creative economy in the markets as well. Facebook, Apple, and the cultural industry of the United Kingdom are cases in point as they have turned the creative ideas into economies, values, and quality jobs. Just like I mentioned, the Israeli cases, we can find some kind of new cases there in Israel. The three innovation cases of the small country of Israel are also good example that shows what the creative economy is all about. The right-hand turn paradigm of Intel and also Netafim's fishing farm in desert and Google's search engine are the three innovations. So I'd like to show a little bit about that. In order to prevent computers from overheating after failing to catch up with the speed of 88 chips, Intel developed the first dual-core chip, a gearbox for computer, in its R&D lab in Israel, and ever since, it has spurred innovation with its variety of multi-core chips, such as dual, triple, and quad cores. Through its right-hand turn strategy, Israel has succeeded in bringing about the shift in the competition paradigm from speed to energy-smart performance chip design development. Another example is that the fish grows in the desert, so-called hanger. Israel is a barren land with very low precipitation. However, despite this unfavorable climate conditions, the country is a global agricultural powerhouse now. The secret is the trickle irrigation technology that puts a hose directly on the root of plant. It also has a technology to keep crab in underground warm salty water and use their excrement for the organic desert farming. So Netafim in Israeli farm developed an innovative technology called the trickle irrigation technology, which enables to produce more crops with less water, and created a very thick forests in the barren desert. So in case of Israel, their rainfall every year is almost 400 millimeters. That's all. So they are very scarce of their water. So they developed their own model of trickle irrigation technology. So through that technology, they can reduce 6% of the water, but they produce more than 50% than any other country. 14 years ago, the Google was not here in the United States. At that time, the Yahoo already prevailed as a search engine in the United States. But within 14 years, the Google, their market capitalization of Google is number 4 in the United States. So what happened there during that last 14 years? A lady in Israel, Yoel Mark, she invented Google Suggest. So if you put two alphabets, like for example N and Y, and then Google suggests lots of suggestions. Like if you put only 2 words of N, Y, and then Google suggests New York Yankees or New York Library or New York something like that. So that invention, like Google Suggest, when Google Suggest was invented, that topped the Google, the Google topped the Yahoo. Like that, the imagination itself is very important compared to science and technology. So Yoel Mark, a lady in Israel, suggests that kind of ideas, and computer engineers realize that ideas with Google suggests technology, Google suggests solutions. Like that, imagination itself is initiated by regular people, and then eventually we combine it with science and technology. That's why imagination is very important for the science and technology. Let's skip this one. It's page about 23 or 24, please. Since we launched the internet in 1999 in Korea, our economy is very much dependent on internet itself, right? So if there is no internet in Korea, I personally think our GDP will be reduced 40%. And as far as export is concerned, about 30% of our export are diminished, right? So like that, within almost 1 decade, our economy based on internet increased dramatically. So-called, I'd like it Internet Economy 1, right? And then the next decades of our internet economy, I'd like to call it Internet Economy 2. And then what will be the difference between Internet Economy 1 and the Internet Economy 2? Internet Economy 1 over last decades are mostly focused on Internet of people, so-called IOP. Right? Only the people are supposed to use internet. How about Internet Economy 2? It will be Internet of things instead of Internet of people, so-called IoT, right? So whatever you have in your hand, like shirts or caps, or even in shoes, are expected to be connected. So if something happened, if something connected by internet, and then we can expect a huge amount of different values. So product itself is a product. But if it's connected by internet, and then the product could be changed into service or solution. For example, the shoe itself is a product, right? If it's some chips at the bottom of the shoe, and then the shoe can be changed into service. That helps us, that checks my, energy consumptions every day, and they send it to cloud computer. So every day, my energy consumption was, accumulated at the cloud center, and then it accumulates, for example, 1 year or 2 years, sometimes 10 years of my own big data. So whenever we call big data, we say, various huge amount of data initiated by SNS, but my own big data is very, very special, narrow, but in depth, my own data could be helpful for checking our health status, something like that. So that's why Internet Economy 2, so-called Internet of Things, IoT, is very expected for creative economy. So as far as the Korean economy is concerned, we are very much concerned about Internet Economy 2. Here I described a little bit about the relationship between population and, kind of paradigm. Almost 200 years ago, the total populations of the world was more or less than 600 million. But thanks to the fertilizer invented by Germany, the Earth can, nourish more than 600 million. So within 150 years, since the fertilizer, nitrogenized fertilizer, the population increased from 600 million to 6 billion. right? The population increased dramatically. And by the end of 1999, the population of the Earth increased 6 million, and within 10 years, the population is now 7 billion. So I'd like to categorize those three sectors. The population under 600 million. At that time, the Silk Road was enough for trading between East and West, right? It will take sometimes more than 3 or 4 months, right? But as the time goes, the population increased. The Silk Road or Westernerly was not enough. So that's why telecommunications and traffic systems are developed very rapidly. By the end of 1999, when the population exceeded 6 billion, very fortunately in Korea, we created another planet, so-called digital planet, right? So when I was executive vice president of Korea Telecom, I initiated a new service named MegaPass. The technology, we implemented high-speed internet technology on top of telephone line. Since then, almost 15 years have passed. And then our economy is almost dependent on our digital planet. So I'd like to raise an issue about new planet on top of the Earth. It's very crucial to our economy. So I wrote a book. The title is Rise Homo Didicus. So 250,000 years ago, the intellectual people emerged on Earth. We call Homo sapiens, right? But finally, in Korean Peninsula, I daily say we have a new species of humankind, so-called Homo Didicus, right? So Homo Didicus is a kind of new species for the next generation. So I think we can imagine some new cases of example here. For example, Korea is number 4th country in producing a car, right? But my point is, as the time goes, China or Brazil, like a BRICS company or developing company, they produce car, just like Hyundai. And then we have to change our business model from just manufacturing of a car to we put some values on top of the car. That's more feasible. So that's why we put some more values on top of the product. So as I mentioned earlier, the Nike, for example, they produce shoes at the China. For example, it's $50, right? And then we put some chips in the bottom of the shoes, and then the shoe price will be goes up to $250, right? So Korea, as a creative economy pioneer, we always suggest create some values on top of the product. So whatever we have a product, we can change those products into a service. And eventually the services are expected to be changed into the solutions. So product, service, solution, like shift the right strategy will be one of the solutions that Korean creative economy is expected to be changed. Creative economy also leads market expansion, cost saving, and ultimately a better life by offering well-organized opportunities. However, like the flip side of the coin, there are adverse effects of the internet, such as cyber crimes, phishing, and identity theft. Also, the issue of jurisdiction of a data center should be resolved for international cooperation. So in building a creative economy, security is crucial as an infrastructure of the economy. So everything on the creative economy needs security and privacy protection as an infrastructure. So that's why we are here to have a meeting with Secretary of State this time. So yesterday and today, we are discussing something about cyberspace and some cooperation relationship in regard to ICT technology. So I'd like to cover a little bit about our action plan for creative economy. With its fast follower strategy, Korea has been able to achieve rapid growth. However, new growth engines have run out, and enough jobs are not being created in Korea today. For this reason, Korea needs to transform itself from a fast follower economy into a first mover economy in order to create new growth engines and markets and thereby create new jobs. Qualitative reforms based on human resources and science and technology-oriented economic structure are required. To this end, first of all, imagination, creativity, and science and technology as economic development factors should be cultivated. And secondly, science and technology-based creative industries should be promoted as a core value, while education to enhance dreams and talents should be conducted as a realization tool. And fourth, the government should transform itself into a creative government through openness and sharing. And lastly, to achieve these goals above, the Ministry of Science, ICT, and Future Planning, where I work, has been established as a leading government body. The concept of a creative economy is very relevant today as the labor-intensive industrial economy is on the decline, where the value and the importance of creativity rises. Also, creating brand new values through innovation and creative destruction is gaining more significant these days. You can see umbrella there. If the weather forecasting today is forecasted like a heavy rain, probably you prepare your umbrella when you come out your home. So in recent years, Korea is faced with a lot of economic challenges such as jobless growth, high youth unemployment, the aging society, and the income gap. And we come to realize that these current economic challenges requires a new economic paradigm that drives job creation, promotes startups, and facilitate collaboration of all economic players. As I mentioned, Korea lacks natural resources. So in a country like Korea, I&D, which stands for imagination and development, is as important as R&D. Therefore, it's time for Korea to place more emphasis on I&D over R&D, to which the country has paid much attention so far. Through imagination and development, anyone with creativity and unique ideas can contribute to the creation of values and intangible assets, as well as swift commercialization with the help of various convergence models. Creative economy is a new economic paradigm of the Park Geun-hye administration, where imagination and the creativity of people is covered with science and technology and ICT to create new industries and markets as well as to strengthen existing industries for job creation. So with the object of establishing a creative economy, the Korean government is planning to take on a number of tasks, including reducing loans while increasing investment for startups, and setting up a one-stop window to support business that seek to go global, and undertaking a so-called Bairami project to vitalize our economy, and also providing software education for students and building networks among Korean scientists, businessmen, and venture capitalists, and strengthening security as infrastructure for the internet economy, and finally, turning people's imaginations into national assets. Those 7 key elements are my mission as a Ministry of Science, ICT, and Future Planning. This slide highlights one of the tasks I mentioned earlier called the Bairami Project, a good example of what the Korean government is currently doing to realize a creative economy. By converging science and technology and ICT, the fields Korea is highly competitive in with other existing industries, creativities, ideas, and imagination, we can create vitamins for creative economy, such as vitamin A for agriculture, vitamin C for culture, vitamin F for food, and vitamin E for environment. And these vitamins will promote convergence-led growth, leadership for future, and happiness for people. When we have some problem, we eat vitamin as a person, right? Just like that, society as a whole, if they need some symptoms, we have to provide some vitamins. For example, vitamin A. In case of Korea, the agriculture, from product producers to the consumers, we have 6 stages to deliver. That's a very long way to go. That's why the consumers have to pay lots of money. So we have to reduce from 6 stages to 3 stages. Like that, we call vitamin A. So if we combine our ICT technology with, to the agriculture distribution network, and then we can reduce the steps. So that's why our consumers can save their money. These are the 6 roles that the Korean government will be playing in building a creative economy. The first role is to create an ecosystem that towards creativity. And second, to support small and medium enterprise and startups to lead the creative economy. And third, to generate new growth engines to pioneer new markets and industries. And fourth, to nurture creative global leaders. And fifth, to strengthen innovation capacity in science and technology and ICT innovation. And lastly, to establish the right climate for creative economy that engage with the government and the public. I'd like to cover those 6 elements a little bit in detail. The first one is to create an ecosystem that rewards creativity and supports startups. So to encourage and support startups, the government is trying to increase investment in creative ideas and technologies, and to promote the establishment of intellectual property rights on technologies, as well as its application and protection. In addition, it's seeking to transform creative assets into business opportunity and build a safety net for startups that makes sure entrepreneurs will be given a second chance even if they fail. The second one is support small and medium enterprise and startups to lead the creative economy and go global. So to support small and medium-sized enterprise and startups to lead the economy, the Korean government is trying to provide them with a springboard for growth and new market creation, and to promote shared growth and coexistence between big enterprise and small and medium-sized enterprise. Thirdly, we are going to generate new growth engine to pioneer new market and industries. So to generate new growth engines, Korea is trying to strengthen existing industries by applying science and technology and ICT. It is also making effort to nurture new software and internet-based industries, develop a high value-added content industry, promote people-centered innovation, and drive industrial convergence through regulatory streamlining. The fourth item is to nurture, create global leaders with dream, talent, and challenge spirit. To nurture creative global leaders with big dreams, talent, and can-do spirit, the Korean government is planning to strengthen education in a way that could boost challenge spirit and entrepreneurship, and to support creative leaders to go global, as well as invite overseas talents to Korea. The fifth one is strengthening innovation capacity to science and technology and ICT, the basis for creative economy. To strengthen innovation capacity and create jobs in the science and technology and the ICT sector, which is the foundation of creative economy, the Korean government is seeking to improve the nation's R&D system and strengthen the industry, academia, institute collaboration. And also establish the climate for creative economy, engaging the government and people. The last but not least, to establish the right climate for creative economy that engages with the government and people, Korea is working on fostering a creative culture and facilitates imagination and creativity. The Korean government is also promoting the convergence between public resources and people's ideas by adopting the government 3.0 system, and has been transforming the way it works to accelerate the realization of creative economy. The government 3.0, the basic concept is the government has huge amount of data, but usually the data are not expected to be open for the protection. But nowadays, our new administration declared the government 3.0. So if it's not strictly confidential, governments are expected to open all of their information, all of their data for public use. So whenever, wherever, whoever, they can utilize those data for the commercialization. That's a government 3.0 strategy in Korea. And also, we have two ways to contribute our imagination to the public. The one way is the offline channel, so-called limitless imagination room. So our government is going to change our library system to limitless imagination room. Library system named more than 500 years ago. But nowadays, thanks to the internet, we don't need to go to library almost every time, right? So we have changed the function and the name of library from library into limitless imagination room. So whenever, wherever, they can go to the nearest imagination room, and then we can provide many different and very interesting assets to there. For example, 3D computers or some kind of storytelling clubs, something like that is available in the library instead of just reading book or research center. And also we have provide some internet-based cyber center for the imagination collection. So Korean government just opened the creativekorea.or.kr, right? So anybody can knock the window and they contribute their ideas or imagination to there. And we have 2,000 mentors are waiting there. So when I deliver my ideas to that site, and then the mentor just fit for that ideas are matched directly. And then they create or they collaborate each other. And that idea is quite feasible, and then the government changed those ideas into patent, right? And that the patent, if patent is finalized, the government grant it to the donors of the ideas. And if their idea is quite feasible or quite reasonable to realize as a business model, and then the mentor and the government connect those ideas directly to the business people. As I mentioned earlier, I declare daily we have 2 planets now. The one planet is the planet you are standing on. The other planet is digital planet. It's invisible. But every day you are staying there. You visit there, and you're staying a couple of hours there in a digital world. So our economy, in a creative economy, is mainly focused on this creative economy on top of the digital planet. So last 60 years of alliance relationship between Korea and the United States are based on the Earth, physical planet, right? We have very strong collaboration relationship over last 60 years. We have another 60 years journey to go. Instead of the Earth, another 6 years of alliance on the digital planet. That's why we are here. We have 2 days dialogue between Department of State and our ministry. So right after this presentation, I have to go to Department of State directly for the discussion with the topic of this kind of, another challenges to go. That's all I prepared today, but the reason why I'm very proud and the reason why I'm very privileged to declare my ideas with you is just like Israel or many other countries, our peninsula in Korea, since the Korean War, one of the miracles throughout the world, right? But the miracle is not miracle anymore. So we are facing new challenges. So our new administration is going to break those, through those, problems by our creative economy. So I'm not sure whether the creative economy could be viable or can change our situation to turn around for the growth of the next decades. But we do our best, and we are going to deliver our message to our young generation, especially the young generations. So we always encourage our young generation to go to the startup frontier, just like Israel. So whenever we discuss next decades of economy, we review some countries' model. After the World War II, many countries independent, right? But the situation, the economic situation is not really independent so far, But actually, not only the politically but also economically, the succeed countries after the World War II for the independence area is Israel and Korea, like Taiwan or Singapore. So those kind of success model is somewhat different model, right? So Korea is our case, Israel is their case, so Singapore, a very small country, right, city country, they have their own model of their, success. So our creative economy model could be one of them. So as a leader of the United States, the Heritage Foundation members, my idea or our strategy could be one of your solutions or one of your policies if it's available. It will be much appreciated for me. So this morning, it was a great pleasure to deliver my ideas with you. And if you have some more ideas or more valuable comments, it will be very welcome for me to modify our strategy. Thank you very much.
Mr. Minister, let me first thank you very much for your presentation and apologize for the technical difficulties. I thought for a minute we had tuned into the U.S. government healthcare site. In any case, I'm sure the equipment in our room there is not Korean in origin. We may have to upgrade. In any case, it's been a very interesting talk this morning. I think you've given us a lot to think about for the future, about developments not only in Korea, but in the United States and around the world. So would you all please join me in thanking Minister Yoon for his presentation.